Hello and welcome, I am Zombie Kitty and welcome to the next part in my reaction series to the Jigsaw blogs. So I wanted to kind of do this one a bit quicker just so we can kind of progress a bit quicker. But the Instagram page for the Jigsaw blogs, they messaged me after the last episode and said what you should do is see if you can cram episodes 9 and 10 into the next video. So then just things run a bit more smoothly. So I am going to take that advice. So we're going to react to episode 9, the Jigsaw Survivors, and episode 10, Fallen Officers. We might do, there's a further evidence thing as well. So we might do that as well. I was going to mention this in the last episode, but completely forgot about it. But I realised the reason Jacob is doing these as lectures, because I started thinking, oh, these are like, you know, lectures and we're learning about stuff, we're doing lessons. I forgot that he was a teacher in this universe who got fired because his students started asking about Jigsaw and he answered and started teaching them about it. So I kind of forgot about that, to be honest, so I apologise, I forgot to mention in the last episode. But yeah, it makes sense that the last few episodes have looked like lectures, because that's what they are. He's teaching his former students about Jigsaw and the story and everything. So not only is it exposition for people who are watching this and don't know the Source franchise, but it also makes sense in universe. The last thing I mentioned in the last video as well was his mum calling, so I'm a bit suspicious on that one as well. But then again, I don't know if that's just, oh, he is just filming and someone's interrupted him. So yeah, but yeah, let's go with episode 9. 4th of the 12th, or 12th of the 4th, I'm not really sure actually. I keep getting confused on the date formats. So, survive. Sorry.
S, start your life anew. U, understand
oh, you're reading
your
Bobby Dagan's book.
R, redefine your priorities. V, verify your self-worth.
Okay.
But do it through commitment. I, ignore your detractors.
Kind of forgot that Bobby Dagan was a survivor,
value
actually.
Your loved ones. And E,
I kind of forgot about that. Yeah, that does make sense.
As if it was could be
your last. Yeah.
I, Bobby Dagan, am a survivor.
Well, he definitely is now.
Welcome back to the Jigsaw Blogs.
Hi.
I'm Jacob Walton.
Hi.
And today, we're going to take a look at every known survivor of the Jigsaw traps.
Cool.
As I stated in my last video, including the fallen officers, there are over 200 victims who died at the hands of the Jigsaw killer and his associates.
Yeah.
But at least Jigsaw's work was not in vain,
survived.
as thankfully there were at least 30 known Jigsaw survivors who either escaped his death traps or passed his test accordingly.
It's charging because I forgot my battery was low.
Look at all of the Jigsaw survivors, including their whereabouts and what they're up to today.
Okay.
These are the survivors of Jigsaw.
Cool.
Congratulations.
I wonder again if he's going to include the games.
People are so ungrateful.
Although, did anyone survive in the games?
Not anymore.
Or poison attracts into helping. Okay.
Amanda Young. Amanda is still credited as the first known Jigsaw trap survivor.
Yeah, I was about to say, chronologically,
after surviving the reverse bear
one.
trap, she gave up her life as a drug addict. However, she was also recruited by John Kramer to be the one that would be his successor. But after the events at the Gideon warehouse, it turns out Amanda ended up following Jigsaw to the grave. The Gordon family. Dr. Gordon was able to escape the bathroom trap by cutting off his own foot.
Well, I guess technically Mark Hoffman isn't a survivor, is he?
After he escaped the
bathroom, he ends up dying like right at the end.
By the Jigsaw killer himself. Lawrence Gordon claimed that he never could properly identify John Kramer as the Jigsaw killer.
Oh no, Mark ends up
after months of his own personal rehabilitation, Dr. Gordon returned to the Metropolitan Hospital, and he would remain there until a few years later after he would leave the city and head to Cleveland to be with his family. Allison and Diana.
I wonder how much is of this is based
After
on
escaping their kidnapping from
his
Zep
own
Pendle,
writing
Allison
of these
reunited with her
episodes.
husband just months later
Like this
after
particular
he
one,
escaped
or
the
how
Jigsaw
much
killer.
is based
Allison
on
would
what
take
the
Diana up to
franchise
Cleveland
tells us.
1 year later and would separate from Lawrence. There she currently
that
resides
makes
and works
sense.
as a psychologist. Diana Gordon would continue with her schoolwork and is currently a college softball player at Cleveland State University.
Okay.
She will be graduating with a degree in psychology, just like her mother.
Yeah, I wonder how much
Survivors
this
from
is
the
actually
Whitehurst
from
Insane Asylum
like the
and
franchise,
chemical
like
plant.
hidden info and stuff
There
like
were
that.
a grand total of 12 survivors from each of the events at Whitehurst Insane Asylum and the chemical plant, along with Holmes Hotel. Two
Okay.
of which were retested by Jigsaw again later. These men were Jeff Reinhauer and Obi Taith, both of which would pass
Yeah,
away
okay, so
later.
this is the game.
The other survivors escaped and are still alive and active to this day.
Yeah, that's the support
These
group.
people include Brian Myers,
Okay.
Cindy Bristow, Vanessa White, Zach Lennon, Stephanie Crawford, Michaela Shire,
Okay.
Anton Reese, Griff Garrison, Jennings Foster, and Joan Feeler. Joan was the first Whitehurst Insane Asylum survivor to go public with her trials and claimed that
Yeah.
her life had been made better through going through them.
Which is what gave Bobby Dagan that
Brad
idea
Turner
of like faking
and
it.
Ryan Reed.
Oh, that's
Both survived the public trap after the death
yeah.
of their girlfriend, Dina.
Yeah.
Both men were regular attendees at the Jigsaw Survivor group.
Controversial
but both have
take.
since
I actually quite
disappeared
like this
during the week
trap.
of Mark Hoffman's disappearance. Both are still declared missing. I know. Both these two go
Okay.
missing the same time Mark Hoffman does. Sounds suspicious
Yeah,
to me
interesting that one.
too. Daniel
Interesting
Matthews. After surviving the nerve gas house, Daniel returned home to his mother. After the death of his father, Eric Matthews, he moved out of the city and started a new life. After moving out of the city, Daniel graduated from college and became a public defender. He currently works for a
I
private
honestly
firm
thought you were going to make
inside
a
of
Scream
Boston,
4
Massachusetts.
reference. Because he's in
Morgan
that.
Tillman.
I honestly thought you were going to do that.
While
That'd have been
surviving
quite
the spy
funny.
trap by murdering her husband Rex, she ended up losing her job as an educator and currently is working as a secretary at the local car dealership.
Okay.
Peter Strong. While investigating at the Gideon Meat Plant Factory, Strong was placed in the cube trap by Mark Hoffman. He was able to survive due to a tracheotomy. However,
But
he went missing weeks later while trying to
oh,
investigate
I was going to
Mark
say
Hoffman.
Strong
He is
wasn't
likely
a survivor
presumed
though,
dead.
but that yeah.
Corbett Denland.
It makes sense that they don't realise
She was rescued by
he
Mark Hoffman
died.
after being
Okay,
kidnapped
yeah, that
by
makes
Amanda
sense.
Young. Corbett lost both her mother and her father that night, and since then has relocated to Toronto, Canada. No other information that I can find on her at this time, but here are some few photos of her that I discovered online.
Okay.
Malik Scott.
Oh, this was number 5,
Survived
isn't
the
it?
Fatal 5 game with Britt Stevenson.
Because he's in the
Today,
he's in the
now a
support
recovering
group.
drug addict who donated half
in
his trust fund to
3D.
charity and is now running his father's legal company.
Okay.
Britt Stevenson.
She's not.
She's also a survivor of the Fatal 5 game with Malik Scott.
Is she?
Britt, however, is currently serving a 15-year sentence for her crimes that she
I mean,
committed
that makes
and
sense.
the murder of Luba Gibbs. Addie Wilson. Addie
I
is
don't
one
think
of
that's
the
quite
survivors
correct.
of
I think
William
she
Easton's
died though,
game.
didn't she?
However, she sadly passed away in 2009 due to her battle of family history of diabetes.
Oh yeah, they
Emily
mentioned that in number
Gomes.
6.
She was one of the 2 victims that survived the carousel trap.
I kind of
Today,
forgot about
she's
all of
still
these
working in the
victims.
healthcare
Yeah, I
industry
guess it makes sense you'd have to
and
mention
is a proud
them.
mother of 2 children who are graduating high school this year. Shelby
Yeah, no, that would
Jones.
make sense you'd have
Shelby
to mention
also
them.
survived the carousel trap. Today, she currently is working for the Melton healthcare industry as a legal consultant.
Okay.
Tara Abbott survived William's final test and is currently a retired bank manager. Brent Abbott. Brent survived William's final game along
Brent
with
was
his
a
mother
badass.
and is
Like,
currently
I'm
working
sorry.
as a crew worker for the traveling rock band, the Black Brothers,
Okay.
led by Paul and Josiah Black. Pamela
Okay.
Jenkins. After William's death,
She's probably still
she
a
continued to
reporter,
profit
right?
off her experiences with Jigsaw and writing another book.
Oh yeah, of
She
course.
is now still a reporter and is a single mother raising her 8-year-old son, in which she named William. Simone
Okay, yeah, because that was
Howard.
her brother.
After surviving her game with Eddie, she would later sue
She was
John
awesome
Kramer's
as
former
well.
company Gideon, along with the Urban Renewal Company, for the attacks that John Kramer caused her. When Jill Tuck died, she filed a lawsuit against her clinic as well. Because of this lawsuit, Jill's clinic had to shut down.
Oh, God,
In exchange of the clinic shutting down, she received millions of dollars because of it.
Yeah, I know this all kind
Today,
of makes
she
sense.
is now one of the top clothing designers in the metropolitan area.
Okay.
Yes, the same person that Jigsaw tested also sued a health clinic run by Jigsaw's wife.
Yeah,
that was
but it kind of
dedicated
makes
to helping
sense for a
recovering
character.
addicts.
It
I
kind of
swear,
makes sense for a
some of
character.
these people are far worse after they've been tested.
Yeah, but it makes
Bobby
sense for a character.
After losing his wife and friends during his own Jigsaw game,
He
fell
released
into
another
a
book.
depression and was
Oh.
placed in a rehabilitation clinic for several years.
Oh.
Today, he is now working as a construction worker and teaches karate classes to young students.
It's not where I thought his
As you
story
just
would have
saw,
gone, actually.
There are still dozens of Jigsaw survivors that are still with us today.
Hmm.
But have they learned any of their lessons from their experience with Jigsaw? Earlier this week, I caught up with a well-respected author
listened to this
and
last
member of
episode.
JigsawRules.com forum page, Timothy Blake.
Yeah.
Joining me right now is Tim Blake. Tim, thank you for being with me today.
Thank you, Jacob.
Oh, hey!
So I guess I'll get right into the first question. What really inspired you to write a book about John
I
Kramer?
wasn't expecting this
Well,
section.
like you, Jacob, I was a young, ambitious kid. I liked to go on web forums such as JigsawRules.com, House of Jigsaw, and talk about the latest, attacks by Jigsaw and the victims of those attacks. I would research these people more and more because, I became fascinated with it, and it suddenly became apparent to me, like, Jigsaw isn't just some monster. These people aren't innocent victims that he just chose at random because he's a sicko. In his mind, he's helping these people in his own way, essentially like cleansing the world to become a better place and cleansing these people of their ways to become better people.
I'm a fan of your first book, and I love the way that you covered the life of John Kramer along with his motivations. And I even like the main title of your book, Is John Kramer the murderer the police say that he is? But towards the end of the book, you really don't give a definitive answer. Why is that?
I guess it's up for interpretation, right?
Well, if you want the truth, Jacob, is there a definitive answer? It's not such a black and white situation.
Yeah.
Technically, yes. John Kramer
Yeah.
is a serial killer. He is a murderer. There's evidence to support that, but he's not waking up every day and saying, I'm going to go out and do bad things and kill people just to hurt people because it brings me joy. This guy isn't Michael Myers. He believes in his mind that he's helping people, that at the end of the day, what he's doing is going to help the greater good. He's helping people to become better. He's ridding the world of those that aren't, able to be helped. And in the grand scheme of things, Jigsaw, he's helping the world to become a better place. So, that's why I feel it really all depends on the perspective that you look at it from. If you look at it from the perspective of someone like me, you would say, no, he isn't necessarily a monster, a murderer. If you are a police officer or you're someone, in an evidence locker, then you'd probably say, yes, he is.
Yeah.
So it definitely depends when you're asking that question, who you're asking.
So going back to your first book, what I found so refreshing was that you explained to the readers that even though we never really got a chance to experience a Jigsaw game firsthand ourselves, we should still take Jigsaw's...
So apologies if my face cam looks a bit different. I have had to just change the camera battery over. But what I was going to say is that I didn't expect Tim's interview to be literally the next video from the last one. I thought it was going to be a couple of videos later, so this is quite interesting. So yeah, let's continue on.
Morals and lessons from these games and then put them in our daily lives. Can you explain a little bit more about that if you like?
Okay, now, Jigsaw, he, in my personal opinion, what I take from the situation, the motivation behind Jigsaw's games were, when you play a game, you're going through something, and at the end of the day, when you do what that game asks you, you get a prize. This prize for his victims was, life. Jigsaw played games for a reason. He didn't just... If he wanted to just kill people, he could walk up to someone and shoot them in the street. But everything that happened to these people came with a lesson. that this person took with them if,
Yeah.
they were to survive. So I feel
I mean,
as though
whether or
you
not
can
those
kind of
people
compare it
took
to,
that lesson to heart or not is a bit different.
it's almost like a religion, and I feel at the end of the day, Jigsaw wanted us, as people to see, whether we were his victims or people that, witnessed what happened to his victims. People aren't perfect. We all make mistakes. But at the end of the day, there is a price to pay for everything, and I think that we should all strive, to live the best lives that we can and to be better people all around. Hopefully we can learn that lesson without having our head crushed in a bear trap or falling into a pit of needles, but, and in my words anyway, that's how Jigsaw saw things.
So to the main topic of our video today, the Jigsaw survivors, what message do you believe that John Kramer really wanted to send them, in your opinion?
Well, see, that's the whole reason Jigsaw played games, because when you play a game, what do? You have to go through steps and obstacles, and at the end you get a prize. So in this case, the prize for Jigsaw's victims was life. Why? Because Jigsaw wanted to teach these people the importance and the value of life, and that's something that I think we should all take with us. Jigsaw feels as though
You kind of
we should
repeated
all
your
be
answer
grateful to
from
be
the
alive.
last
One of his,
question.
first victims was someone who
I don't know
tried
if
to
that's
commit suicide,
intentional or not,
survived,
though.
and then he took them, and they had to fight to be alive. And that was his way of saying, like, so many people have to fight to be alive. Why would you take your own life? Life is a precious thing. And then that person from that had to learn to be grateful for their life. And he encouraged other survivors and his accomplices, really, to help carry out his message of rehabilitating others, such as Amanda Young and Mark Hoffman, for example.
Speaking of Amanda Young and Mark Hoffman, in a chapter in your newest book, The Philosophies of Jigsaw, you claim that they both failed really carrying out John Kramer's legacy and what he wanted them to do. Why do you believe that?
I understand that chapter of my book is hard for some Jigsaw fans to comprehend, but to answer your question, no one can be like John Kramer. There is only one Jigsaw. Just like there's only one Tim Blake. There's only one Jacob Walton in this world. No one can replicate who we are, and I believe that their
we've
roles
seen
in
in the
working
other
with
films,
Jigsaw
other
were
people
no
tried
different
to
than any other
replicate
mentor-pupil
his work.
relationship. The mentor
Like
can
John's
spend
work,
as
and it
much
hasn't
time
worked.
as they want teaching their pupil, but it's the student's job to take what they learned and use it to move forward in their life. You can lead the horse to the water, the horse has to drink for itself. So in the case of Amanda and Hoffman, it led to both of their demise. That's why they failed, because they failed to do that. They failed to take what was taught to them and use it going forward, and what have we?
Currently, there are at least over 20 Jigsaw survivors that are still living today.
I do think this one's quite
What
interesting.
if any, did the Jigsaw games have on them?
Based upon my last known observation of these victims, some are striving to improve and, have moved on and moved up in the world to help better themselves, to help better society. Take Daniel Matthews, for example. Over 10 years ago, this boy was placed in a deadly game, found a way to survive, and now he's currently a public defender trying to help people fight the same system his dad swore to protect. And I think, that's a beautiful thing.
And then what about the ones who didn't, such as Bobby Dagan or Simone Howard?
True, yes, there are
Yeah, 'cause
people
there's
who use
exceptions
their
to
victim
that.
status in exchange for profit, as many people do. I'm aware of Miss Howard's lawsuit against John Kramer's company and how it affected others, but for the few that failed to understand Jigsaw's message, there also come with those the many that did. Look at Dr. Gordon, a man who continued his practice as a doctor to save more lives. Look at victims such as Emily Gomez, Shelby Jones, who left Umbrella Health Insurance and started working for different public healthcare organizations. Malik Scott donated half of his trust fund, trying to help addicts such as he was.
Yeah, so they all learned something
you see,
and learned to be better
Jigsaw's
people
methods
from it.
can and have worked. Do they always? No, but a lot of the time they do, and the proof is in the pudding.
So, what you're saying is that people react to the trauma from Jigsaw differently than what he intended, and that's just natural?
How it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People who suffer through trauma, such as surviving a Jigsaw game, often tend to experience symptoms such as PTSD, acute stress disorders, nightmares, flashbacks, and
I feel like this isn't like lining up with what he
example
is,
that
with
we
what
know
Jacob
of that
is
helps
thinking.
prove this fact was John Kramer himself.
Really? Why's that?
John Kramer suffered a tragedy with the loss of his son Gideon. Soon, he fell into a depression after that, and once he was diagnosed with terminal cancer, he tried to commit suicide. But it's through that entire trauma that, John Kramer.
But I think what's
took
interesting
all
about
that
this
pain
one
and
is that Tim
suffering and
Blake
became Jigsaw, and how he
has
spent the
different.
rest of his
He can
days
see the
trying to get
different
people to learn
perspectives, and I don't
see
think
the world
that's
the way that he
fitting
did.
with.
That's interesting.
With
that's
his
really
narrative.
an approach I never honestly thought about before.
Yeah, because you haven't
I'm
really
glad
been
to hear
thinking
that.
about that.
Most people that I talk with are pretty dismissive to any other interpretation. I believe that anyone can relate to and identify these kinds of trauma at any age, from elderly men, like John Kramer, to even young children.
Children?
Yep. Even the youngest Jigsaw survivor, Diana Gordon, she had to endure this kind of suffering. As of right now, she's currently in college, playing for the Cleveland State softball team, last I checked anyway, and she's doing well for herself.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I feel like it's not lining up with your narrative,
Tim,
though.
I want to thank you very much for your time today, and I want to encourage all the
it's
viewers out
encouraging
there
you
to
to
please
think
check out his
differently.
new book, The Philosophies of Jigsaw, which is still currently in the top 50 U.S. bestsellers list.
Cool.
Tim, thank you so much for joining me today.
It was my pleasure, Jacob, and may I say one thing?
Yeah.
Don't forget the lessons Jigsaw was trying to teach us.
Oh, don't worry, I will. You have a good day, Tim.
Thanks so much, Jacob.
Make sure you all continue to support
Okay.
Mr. Blake and his works, and continue to read his new books as well, The Philosophy of Jigsaw, which is still
Okay.
currently in the top 50 in the U.S. bestsellers list. Well, that's all the time we have for the day. Tune in
Okay.
next time as we talk about all the fallen officers that try to apprehend the Jigsaw killer.
Oh, that'll be an
Be
interesting
sure to
one
follow
as
me
well.
on Twitter and Instagram for more updates. I'm Jacob Walton, and this has been the Jigsaw Blogs.
You look a bit confused at the end. Okay, let's pause for a sec, because I have a couple of things to say. Okay, firstly, do we think Tim is a follower of Jigsaw, as in like an apprentice? Because the way he said that last bit was really interesting and a bit weird. But also, I think, apologies as well, sorry, my laptop fan's going nuts. I think because I think that interview was interesting because all of the other people that Jacob has interviewed so far all seem to have one narrow-minded perspective. But then you have Tim comes along and he's got a whole bunch of different perspectives, whole different angles and ways to think about these situations, and different ways to think about John, which Jacob at one point did say, I didn't really think about that. So it's clear that he's only thinking sort of one lane. And at first I was like, is it challenging Jacob to think differently, or is it not fitting with Jacob's narrative? Like what Tim is saying isn't fitting with his narrative. Because there was a point where Jacob looked a bit, I don't know, awkward or uncomfortable, as if like this isn't really where I wanted the interview to go. The other things I want to mention, and then we'll get on to the next one, is Britt and who was the other one? Peter Strom and Mark Hoffman, I guess, to an extent. I was confused because I was like, what? Why have you put them into the Jigsaw survivors? Because they didn't survive. But Britt, I'm guessing he's rewritten that because Britt did actually die from the, putting the hand into the saws at the end of the 5th film. She did die. We saw her die. But it was only Peter Strom's like higher up. I can't remember his name. But he was the only one who saw that. He was the only one in the room at the time. Mark Hoffman went missing. That makes sense. We as viewers know that because we're watching the films from his perspective. So of course we'd know that. It's the same with Peter Strom as well. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like, why do you think he survived? Because he didn't. But I was like, the sliding wall thing, like the crusher, only happened between Mark Hoffman and Peter Strom. No one else would have seen that. No one else would have known about that. So as far as everyone else is concerned, he just disappeared and that's it. So yeah, I didn't really think about that one. Because I was confused at first and I was like, I only know what really happened because, we've seen the films. But realistically, yeah, you wouldn't know that. Okay, we're going to continue on with the next one. I've got to make sure subtitles are on. Yes, cool, good. We're going to continue on with the next episode, which is Fallen Officers. So, yeah, let's go. Oh, this is quite a while later. Wasn't the last one in, like, April or something? September. Hi? Oh,
up,
God,
everybody?
it's you
I'm James
again.
Bell, VPN's most reliable.
It's
12:30 on a Wednesday afternoon, and I don't have any of these metropolitan pigs helping me figure anything out about this Jigsaw case. It's been months since I've had any footage of any of the survivors or any of the killings, and I'm craving more content.
Yeah, because it's been quite a few
Hey,
months by
Goins,
this
what's going on?
point.
What's going on with these Jigsaw murders? Have you discovered Jigsaw's body? Have you found any more bodies? Do you have any current suspects?
He's like,
Because if you're hiding more
please
killings
go
from the public, that's
away.
complete bullshit, man. I gotta make a living too, you know? Oh, come on. There's gotta be something you can give me.
We're doing everything we can to make sure these attacks don't happen again. You have a good day, sir.
And I think some of my tax money goes to paying these assholes.
Okay.
Okay, look. I know I've been very vocal about the incompetence and the problems with the police force in the past. But stuff like this has got to stop people, alright? We can't
Yeah.
be harassing the cops about the Jigsaw killings. I want answers as much as you all do.
But this isn't
And I
the way to do
understand
it.
that the police force is a joke right now. But there are still good cops out there.
Yeah, like this
Majestic
isn't the
ones
way
out
to do
there.
it.
So I'm asking you all to please stop harassing all of the law enforcement officials about the Jigsaw killings. Believe me, they got enough problems on their hand. Having said that, welcome back to the Jigsaw
Yeah,
Moments.
hi.
I'm Jacob Walton. And
Okay,
today,
that was an
we're taking a look
interesting
at
introduction.
all of the fallen officers that try to apprehend the Jigsaw killer. Ever since the beginning, the police tried to catch the Jigsaw killer and his associates from completing their work. However, it took the police over a year and a half to actually figure out that it was actually John Kramer was the man that they called Jigsaw.
Did they put a
Jigsaw
time
not
frame
only
in the
tried to
films?
test
I
people
don't think they
around
did actually.
his life,
Which is
but
interesting.
he also tested the officers themselves. Some of these officers were killed in a line of duty, either by one of his death traps
Oh, yeah.
or being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And we're about
Yeah.
to go over each one of them
Oh,
today.
Todd from Final
Like I
Destination.
said, no matter how corrupt, dirty, or incompetent some of these police officers were, at the end of the day, they still risk their lives and end up giving their lives trying to save others and prevent Jigsaw from killing any more victims. And we're here to honor them today. These are the fallen officers that try to stop the Jigsaw killer.
Cool.
911, what is your emergency?
2 officers are down at 213 Stygian Street. You must hurry.
Assault has been dispatched. Sir, do you know who perpetrated these assaults?
The world is a dangerous place.
Subtitles are going nuts, by the way. I don't know why they're I don't know why they're saying different things. I do apologise though.
Stephen Singh. Singh was the first
Oh,
police
this
officer
was
who
so
died in the line of duty
upsetting.
while trying to apprehend the Jigsaw killer. He traveled with his partner, Detective David Tapp, to
Yeah.
213 Stygian Street to locate the Jigsaw killer
So this was the
without
first
any
film.
backup or warrant for that matter. Singh was shot multiple times in the head by the shotgun trigger trap while
Yeah.
walking, trying to apprehend the Jigsaw killer. David Tapp. After the death of his partner,
Oh, video
Singh,
game.
Tapp
Yeah.
was discharged from the police force, and for months he became obsessed with finding Jigsaw,
Yeah.
which led to the events with the Gordon family, and later the events at Whitehurst Insane Asylum.
Yeah.
He later traveled home and committed suicide after the events of the asylum.
It's interesting that that's the ending you're
Allison
going with.
Carey,
I guess that makes the most
tested
sense
in the Angel Trap.
compared to the other ending.
Detective Carey was one of the original homicide detectives who started the Jigsaw investigations. She became a target herself when she tried to go after Jigsaw and Amanda Young. She was abducted by Amanda Young after
Oh,
the
the
Troy
Angel
Baker trap. Unfortunately, she was given no chance to escape the Angel Trap, and she was murdered by Amanda Young. And it's a shame because Carey was the only detective that fully understood Jigsaw's methods, and it's a damn shame
Yeah.
she was murdered by Amanda Young. Detective Eric Matthews. Another member of the homicide division who was once a well-respected detective, but through further investigations, he was accused of planting evidence against suspects, police brutality, and even gunning down an unarmed suspect. When his son Daniel was kidnapped by Jigsaw, Eric was forced to play Jigsaw's game. He would
So
fail
this is
his
all
test
two.
and would help Jigsaw escape from police custody. But by doing so, he was kidnapped by Amanda Young and held hostage for 6 months.
I mean, this is
Soon
also like 3 and
afterwards,
4 as
he
well.
was tested again along with his SWAT lieutenant, Daniel Rigg. When Rigg failed his
Yes,
test,
this is so
Eric was
cool.
crushed and killed in the ice cube trap.
Yeah, which is
Lieutenant
brutal.
SWAT Commander Daniel Rigg. Rigg's test was to learn how to let go,
Oh, yeah, Rigg
and that
did
he
die,
can't
didn't he?
save everyone from any Jigsaw
No.
attacks.
No, I don't think he did.
Rigg failed his final test in trying to save Eric Matthews and
Oh,
was
yeah,
shot
no, he
and
did.
killed by
Yeah.
Eric in the ice cube trap. The Metropolitan SWAT team officers. There have been at least 7 members of Rigg's SWAT team
Oh,
who were killed in
yeah.
the line of duty. 2 of these officers were killed in Jigsaw's warehouse by an electrical trap.
Yeah, this one
These
was
men
brutal.
were Darren McGuire and John Stoneham.
I kind of
The
forgot
other 5
about all
SWAT
these people
officers
as well. Yeah, that
were
makes
gassed
sense
alive
that they'd also
in the
be
Bobby
mentioned.
Dagan game. These officers were Pete Logan, Bill Oliver, Patrick Mark, Reagan Moore, and the newly promoted lieutenant, Simon Norwood.
Who then
The Internal
died very
Affair
quickly.
officers. One of the victims that was the head of the department was Matt Gibson. Matt was shot and killed by a turret gun.
Look, at
along
least
with
he got a
officers
quicker
Richard
death than
Dent
in Final
and
Destination
Harvey
1.
Dover.
Like, that's the thing. At least he got a quicker
Gibson
death
was
then.
the IA officer that investigated Mark Hoffman, Eric Matthews, Daniel Rigg, and others for their suspicious criminal activities in years prior.
Okay.
During the attacks at the precinct, Mark Hoffman was able to murder several more officers who were guarding Jill Tuck.
Yeah.
These people were Dr. Hefner, Phil Morrison, Danny Lima, Leslie Neely, Rachel Palmer, and Chad Rogers.
Okay.
The FBI agents. The FBI got involved when they received a message from Detective Carey.
I guess
about
I
2
didn't
officers
realise
that might
actually
be in
how many
danger.
people
However, it was later
and how many
revealed that it
characters
was
are
actually
involved
Mark
in this
Hoffman who sent the
franchise
messages
until now.
and the key posing as Detective Carey.
There's a
to
lot.
Special agents Lindsay Perez and Peter Strong. It was also during this time that a CSI photographer,
Oh, yeah.
Chelsea Clark, was also killed by the spy
I mean,
trap
accidentally.
in a misfire
Yeah,
accident.
that was an accident.
According to the reports, Special Agent Erickson made the call to place Perez in witness protection to escape further Jigsaw attacks. Agent Strong was also attacked by Mark Hoffman, and he escaped the Q trap at the Gideon warehouse. He would later try to take down Mark Hoffman himself, but would go missing after stealing several
this
of the
is what we were
Jigsaw
just talking
FBI
about.
files from Special Agent Erickson.
This is what we were just
He is
talking about a
likely
minute ago.
presumed dead. During the night of the Umbrella Health Games, Hoffman murdered FBI agents Perez, Erickson, and the tech director, Sashi Wynn. Hoffman
Then
would then
that was
burn
an
their
amazing
remains in an
scene.
attempt to cover his tracks. No evidence was given
Yeah,
as
that
to
was
how
an
the
amazing
FBI figured
scene.
out that Mark Hoffman was the accomplice to Jigsaw. So including homicide,
Wait, they didn't realise that they were
Internal Affairs,
using like the audio
SWAT
technology
team,
for it.
and FBI, there's a grand
Is that what
total
you're saying?
of 27 known fallen officers who died in the line of duty.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Having said all that, there are still a few active detectives from different precincts that are still working on the Jigsaw case to this day.
Okay.
Detective Fisk, who was working on the Jigsaw cases since the beginning, was later promoted to captain of the Metropolitan Police Department until he resigned
Oh, yeah,
in
okay, no, I do remember
2017
this guy.
after the new Jigsaw murders started popping up again.
Sorry, I completely forgot who he was
Today,
for a
the
sec.
new head captain of the Metropolitan Police Department is run by Angie Garza.
Well,
SWAT Commander LaManna would later be
she's not
promoted to
anymore.
lieutenant a few years later. He would retire in early 2019
She was from Spiral.
and be replaced by Lieutenant Vic Ortiz.
Are you from Spiral
Keith
as
Hunt is
well?
still active on the police
Yeah.
force,
yeah.
and his partner Detective Halloran is still missing after the first Jigsaw
Okay,
events.
so that's Jigsaw, yeah.
With Captain Garza's leadership and the influence of police veterans such as Marcus Banks, The Metropolitan Police Department will continue to do everything in their power to make sure that these Jigsaw attacks will never happen again.
Well, that didn't really work, did it?
Well, that's all the time we have in this episode. Tune in
Didn't
next
really
time
work.
as we go over every known Jigsaw associate or accomplice that worked for him.
Yeah, I think the
during
next
his
one's
reign of
quite
terror.
long.
Please continue to follow me on Twitter
I think the
and
next
on
one's quite a long
Instagram
video.
for more updates.
Cool.
I'm Jacob Walton, and this has been the Jigsaw Vlogs.
Awesome. Oh. Wait, hello? Sorry, I didn't realise there was something else. My bad.
Hey, Mom, how you doing?
Oh god, it's this again.
That's good, that's good. But hey, listen. I need a favor, okay? Yeah. Do you remember that girl in 2nd grade a long time ago during the Jigsaw attacks?
Are you going to try and get in contact with her? I don't think that's a good idea. I don't think... Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea because I don't think she'll want to remember that. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this one, to be honest. The only thing I have to say is that it was funny going through like, oh, this officer was replaced by this officer, and it's all the people from Spiral. It was like, yeah, cool. They didn't survive either. They also died. Did everyone die? Can't remember. No, I'm not going to spoil it because it's obviously a more recent one. But yeah, no, not everyone died. But yeah, that is quite funny. Like going through, oh, they, you know, this person's still around. It's like, no, they're not. Not anymore. Yeah, okay, that's going to be interesting for the next one. So, the last one we're going to watch is another further evidence video. I don't have too much to say on that one, like I just said. So, very sort of self-explanatory. Oh, no, I was going to say something. The intro with, oh my god, what's his name? What's his name? The annoying guy. The annoying guy. What's his name? Was it James? I think was his name? Yeah, sorry, I couldn't remember. But him following, like, that police officer and, like, just absolutely harassing him and annoying him. Yeah, it does make sense that if all these murders have started happening again and the police are kind of taking their time with it, the people would be like, well, what's going on? That does make sense to me. But, yeah, like, I do find it interesting that Jacob is like, hey, like, we're doing research on this, but that doesn't mean you get to, like, stalk people and harass people. Like, don't do that. So that side of it was actually quite interesting, but it makes sense for that character to do that. Because we've talked about him before on a previous reaction, I think it was the last one we did. Well, I was like, yeah, he seems a bit up himself and quite arrogant. So, yeah, it does kind of make sense for his character to do that. So, yeah, the last thing we're going to watch is further evidence number 5. This is Kayla's phone call. So, this is only a couple of minutes. So, yeah, let's go.
Jesus, Jacob! How many times are you going to ignore my calls? Did you forget today was Mom's treatment day?
Oh,
I'm kidding. Of course you did.
Kayla's the
well,
sister.
I just wanted to let you know
I'm guessing.
I had to take time off of work again to take Mom to the doctor's office for her chemo treatments.
I'm just
letting you know that this is the last of my sick days that I have available for the school year.
It's a few months later as well.
It's November, so from now until May, anytime I take off, they dock my pay for the remainder of the school year. It would be nice if you got up off of your ass to help out and to actually pay attention to what's going on with your own family for a change. But the doctors believe that this time that Mom's tumor is spreading even further. But we're going to have to see how bad the cancer is when the tests come back in a week. Mom would like both of us to be there for her when the time comes. She's strong and she tries her best not to show pain, but I can tell that she's going through a lot right now, and she really needs you and me both here for her. I just can't do this on my own anymore, Jacob. It was bad enough losing Dad, and now Mom too, and I just don't know how much time we'll have left with her, you know? But I love you, Jacob. But you're just not dependable right now. Mom needs you right now. And I need you to step up and not just be an older brother for me, but a son to her right now. She's given up her life helping her children, and it's time that we do the same for her. Well, her next appointment with Dr. Condro is the 21st at 1 o'clock at the Metropolitan General.
Okay.
I know he's not as good as Dr. Gordon was for Mom, but he's the only top specialist left in his city, so don't forget, the 21st at 1 p.m. Call me when you get this message, okay? Bye.
Okay, you left that right at the last second. Oh my god. Okay, let's talk about that phone call first. So, I had a feeling, because I called it in the last video, I had a feeling the mum side plot was going to come forward, but I thought it was going to be, oh, it's going to lead to a Jigsaw game. No, this is going to lead to something I actually said a few videos back, where I said it seems that this is kind of just taking over Jacob's life and he's not really thinking about anything else. He's becoming obsessed with this. This is something I said a while back. And yeah, this phone call kind of proves that. Of his sister trying to get in contact and be like, look, you need to kind of pay attention to the world around you and not just become obsessed with this Jigsaw stuff. But then the name drop happened. So Dr. Gordon was their previous doctor. Okay. I can't help but feel like Jacob is going to be like, oh, our previous doctor was involved with Jigsaw. I can use that as a contact. I can't help but feel like that's maybe where it's going to go. But in the process, he's losing contact with everyone else around him to chase this obsession. He's kind of becoming a bit like Tap, to be honest, actually. Like, the Jigsaw thing is the only thing he's paying attention to, and that's it. So, yeah, it is interesting. You've got, yes, stuff to do with Jigsaw, but you've also got this other plot where it's like, well, actually, this is a story about someone who's so obsessed with these cases that have come up that he's not paying attention to anything else. But I don't really have anything else to say. This was actually really interesting. The next one is going to be The Accomplices, which I think is quite long. So 11... Yeah, there's quite a lot there. I'll see if I can cram episodes 11 and 12 into one video for next year. But we'll see how that goes. I don't want it to be too long. But yeah, this was my reaction to episode 9 and 10 of the Jigsaw blogs. As always, the playlist will be down in the description below, so you guys can go off and watch it for yourselves. But thank you all for watching, and I will see you all soon. Bye!